Today is Tuesday, Parashat Devarim. This evening we'll begin the month of Av. The month of Av is known, of course, for the first 9 days. There are days where we refrain from certain types of activities, not even eating meat or drinking wine except for Shabbat. And this is in commemoration of the destruction of the temple and the Galut going into exile. But still, the way that it is brought in halacha, mishenichnas av mema'atim besimcha. From the time that Av begins, we diminish simcha, we diminish joy. We don't eradicate, we don't erase, we don't get rid totally of joy in doing the mitzvot, in following the words of Hashem, but we just diminish it. There should always be there a certain amount of joy in serving Hashem and in doing all the mitzvot that we do. But at the same time, as we come closer to the day of the 9th of Av, when we commemorate this tragedy of the destruction of the temple and other calamities that happen in our history, we should think also of what it is that we can do better, so that this time of adversity can turn into a time of inspiration, into a time where we can become better people, getting along better with each other, having ahavat chinam to one another, love rather than sinat chinam. And interestingly enough, the first half of the month is definitely under the beginning of it, under the idea of the difficult times. But from the 15th of the month of Av, it begins an incredible time of joy in a way, because that 15th of Av is known as one of the biggest days of celebration in the Jewish calendar. So we see that this month has two aspects to it. But it is like its name. The name is Av. Av in Hebrew means a father. The beginning of the month is like a father that disciplines his son. He wants him to do right, so he might punish him to some extent, just so that he puts him on the right path. But it's not punishment for its own sake. It's out of an abundance of love for the child, for wanting him to do right. And that's why after this period, there is a period of closeness with Hashem as we go closer to the month of Elul, which is Ani ledodi vedodili. After the 15th of the month of Av, we already get close to that period of incredible closeness between Am Yisrael and Hashem. But just one other word about the month of Av. The month of Av is related to the tribe of Shimon. Shimon in Hebrew has to do with lishmoa, to hear. So there are certain aspects of opportunities to grow in what has to do with the idea of hearing, where we have to refrain from Lashon Hara. And if somebody tells us Lashon Hara, we shouldn't believe it, we should stay away from it. Anything that has to do with the sense of hearing is a certain aspect that we can, during this month, have to do with it. What happened on the 9th of Av, when the Meraglim, the spies, came back from the land of Israel and spoke bad about the land of Israel. They spoke Lashon Hara, and the people believed them. That was a test, and that was unfortunately they failed, and that date became a date that in history had all these calamities that happened in it. So we can regain the date to make it a day of celebration, as we're told by Hachamim, that the time of the fast of Tisha B'Av will become a time of celebration, because even initially it was potentially a time of great celebration. Had the spies come back and said, it's a great land and we're going to go and conquer it and everything is fine, Hashem is with us, and people would have been celebrating. Or if the people would not have believed what the 10 spies out of the 12 said, it would have been also a day of great celebration. So the sense of hearing, Shmi'ah, is a sense that we, in this month, sort of focus on and make sure that we use it correctly and purely. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.